That's how I'm firing. I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong.
All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And today, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony AJ Joshua, and how it's being reported that Anthony Joshua is considering retiring from the sport of boxing. That's right, he's considering hanging up the gloves and calling it a career. Now, I do want to give my 2 cents on how I feel about this, my personal thoughts on this. But before I do that, let me read it here. What was said in Boxing Scene, just, a formal reading. And it says that former world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is seriously considering retirement from boxing, according to his uncle. Now, I may screw this name up, guys, so, don't don't get mad at me, but it says here that his uncle, his name is Ade Damala Joshua. So according to him, Anthony Joshua is considering retiring from the sport. Now, like I said, I do want to get my 2 cents on this, but before I do that, I want to go back just a little bit to December the 19th, the day that Anthony Joshua defeated YouTuber Jake Paul. And I think that was a very, very pivotal moment in AJ's career. And not from a standpoint where, because he was facing a YouTuber, not the fight itself, but how he gained such a huge new fan base in that fight. You guys know that the American women were going crazy over AJ. And a lot of people were exposed to AJ who had never heard of AJ because he was on Netflix. And for days, the talk of the town was Anthony Joshua. It almost like he transcended boxing after that night. And he was on top of the world. And just 10 days later, tragedy struck when he was in that horrific car accident in his home country of Nigeria. He lost 2 of his best mates, and it's just amazing to me to see how one moment you could be so up and then the next minute you're down. It's at the drop of a hat. It is amazing to me how things can change so quickly. And this is what happened with Anthony Joshua. Now, let me say this, as a boxing fan and a fan of Anthony Joshua, I would love to see him stay in the sport of boxing and mix it up with the likes of Tyson Fury, even Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, a fight that we talked about for years that we never got. Maybe even a rematch with Daniel Dubois. I would love to see that. But I will say this. If his heart's not in it, I can understand why he, would walk away from the sport. Because you can't have one foot in and one foot out. You have to be 100% focused when it comes to the sport of boxing, because it's a dangerous sport, especially in the heavyweight division, where one punch could change everything. You could lose your life in that ring. And maybe going through what he went through, that tragedy, losing his best friends, he just can't see himself doing this anymore. If that is the case. These guys trained with him. They helped him prepare for these fights. And that would just, going into training camps, that would just be a reminder of everything. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And, I just can't imagine what he's going through day to day, playing this stuff back and forth in his mind. Why did this have to happen? So I wholeheartedly understand if he chooses to, take his ball and go home. Do I want him to go? No, I don't. As a fan, I don't. But I don't want to be selfish either. I don't want to be a selfish individual. And these, like I said in a previous video, sometimes we look at these fighters and, you know, we don't see them as human beings. We see them as people who are here to just entertain us, but they go through trials and tribulations just like we do. You know, they just know how to box. You know, they just know how to do things that we can't do. So yeah, I'm going to support AJ in whatever decision that he makes. We haven't heard anything formal from him. This is coming from his uncle. So we just don't know yet until he actually comes out and says, you know, he's retiring. But like I said, I'm going to support him in whatever decision he makes. And I just want to say once again, you know, I want to send out prayers to him. I want to send out condolences to the families of the lost loved ones. And I just, you know, hopefully you guys will pray for AJ, man. You know, because I'm sure he's going through a very rough time, rough period in his life. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about AJ. Do you think he will retire? Is that something that, you know, will sadden you? Is that something that you want to see? Is that something that you can understand if he does make that decision? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.